If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
I've ever seen the Ravens have depth at skill positions, which, to me, you'd always come in, okay, they got Todd Heap, or okay, they got Sharp. But I mean, where's really the depth? At wide receiver, they were always scraping the barrel to get somebody. Well, now, I mean, what they're going to do is, this is what I believe. This is not coming from them, but I believe they've got enough depth at wide receiver in these young guys who they like. They've got enough depth at wide receiver that right now, at least in my opinion, they would consider trading Clayton if somebody came after who needed a veteran receiver, albeit a veteran underachieving receiver. But, and then, at tight end with the two kids they got, it looks like Dixon is ahead of Pitta, but, Todd Heap now is healthy. Obviously, he's motivated to be able to keep his job. So they're good at tight end. And then I don't think they would trade McGahee, but it's not out of the realm of possibility if they can get a really good corner for him. But, look, I remember when they picked Ray Rice, and I told Eric DeCosta, their big college scout, that I said, you are absolutely going to love this guy because he's one of these guys. To me, he's Emmitt Smith with some moves, and I don't mean that he's going to have the career that Emmitt Smith had, so don't get me wrong, but he's that kind of player. He's indestructible, okay? And he can catch the ball coming out of the backfield. And he's one of the nicest guys in the NFL. He is a tremendous person, and with him, Flacco, it's sort of your offensive centerpieces. And one other thing I want to talk about is Donte Stallworth. As everybody here knows, Donte Stallworth had, in March of 2009, was charged and convicted of vehicular homicide in Miami and served a very short sentence. There were obviously a lot of extenuating circumstances in the case, but he served a short sentence and then he was suspended for the year by Roger Goodell. I thought at the time that he was not going to get another chance, that he'd be out for a while and then nobody would sign him. And the Ravens obviously took a chance on him, and I'm very, very bullish on them taking a chance on him, first of all, and number two, him having a good chance to be a good person and a good player this year. And I'll just tell you a little story. When the Ravens had a scrimmage, 10 days ago or so down at the stadium, it was an opportunity for a lot of fans to go and for a lot of the players to see the stadium for the first time, the rookies, all that. And so they're warming up before the game, and John Harbaugh was standing there on the sidelines, and Donte Stallworth comes up to him and he says, "Coach, I just really want to say thank you." And he gave him a hug. He said, "For what?" He said, "For giving me a chance." This guy knows that this is it. This is chance. When I saw him today, Donte Stallworth was always a guy who'd get the little nicky injuries. He'd get a little hamstring here, calf there, all the little things. But he was determined this time, because he knew that if he got hurt in camp that was going to be it, that he was going to get in the best shape of his life, high school, college, or pro. Now, he's always, looked sort of sculpted, looked good and all that, but this guy is, he's Mr. America. And he's running just like he's always run. And I think, now I don't know this, I was telling somebody today that if you're in fantasy football, pick Donte Stallworth in the last round if you need touchdowns. Because I believe, there are some guys who I say, after I visit a camp, I say that guy's going to score 10 touchdowns. Like, for instance, Eric Decker of the Denver Broncos. He's a guy who, Josh McDaniels, every time they're in the red zone, is going to run a fade. If Kyle Orton is accurate enough, or maybe Tebow in his snaps at the goal line, I'm just telling you, Decker's going to score 10 touchdowns. But again, he's going to have the opportunity to do that. Whether he does it or not, I don't know. Just remember one thing. I'm the guy in Steve Spurrier's first year who said, forget Favre, forget Manning, take Werfel. So, in other words, the fantasy advice might not be such good advice.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.